Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 4 of Weekly Dead. I'm your boy, the Ultimate B-Man, alongside with
Frozen Chris.
and
Larry.
and over here,
Kryptonite Kyle.
and
Gomer.
also.
Fantastic.
Alright guys, it's time to review or talk about episode 7. Come on with it. The governor, he's back, and he comes with this family. They already established him in episode 6, and he's supposed to be reformed, and now here in episode 7, it's like, okay, what are you trying to tell me, Governor?
Exactly.
Thinking back to the episode.
Yeah, and how absolutely ridiculously
Well,
stupid it was.
you know, I could have, if this episode didn't retcon the last episode,
Yeah.
they could have made up for the last episode and
They
built
didn't.
on it. But the fact that they retcon it just pissed me off.
Yeah. I can
This
see
entire-
they kind of like pushed him into like a different kind of psychosis, but it really didn't come across that way at all. It came off as cheap. Like, oh man, look, we got to get the governor as a bad guy again. We got 2 episodes to do it. Hurry up and write something.
I don't even feel like they wrote it. I think they just gave him a couple of cameras and some lights and said,
Yeah.
"Here you go."
Yeah.
Copy and
Really,
paste.
Improv,
and I'm
improv.
going to
Copy
say
and
the
paste
people
it.
that know me knows how painful it is for me to say this, but I really have to say, fuck you, Robert Kirk.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
This
Yeah, I will
whole
agree with that.
episode
Wow.
was like, well, in the comics he had a tank. Let's give him a
Let's
tank.
give him a tank.
Yeah.
That's pretty much the
And
whole
it
point
just
to it.
really
the whole
seemed
point
like
of
he
the
just
episode.
said, you
Yeah.
watched the last one.
Well, you can't really set up for the mid-season finale without the tank. 'Cause
I
they
would have
wanna
believed
wanna
him
get
having
out
a
of the
tank
prison.
at Woodbury.
I agree.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They had
He could
everything
have
else.
easily, they raided army bases,
Well,
they did all that other
they-
shit.
they-
He
They've already
could have
had
had the tank at Woodbury.
When he goes to burn it down, maybe he gets it, you know?
Yeah,
Something
hides it away.
In the first
Right.
governor episode, they
You
go
wouldn't
to
know it.
another camp. Why couldn't the other camp have a damn tank
Yeah,
laying
exactly.
around and they attack
Yeah,
that camp?
exactly.
But
And it-
they didn't even attack that camp, and it just seemed weird.
And it's so convenient that there's a tank driver that's like,
Yeah.
hey.
Yeah, who
Yeah.
the only
I'm a
tank,
tank
the
mechanic.
only
I'm
guy
a
from
tank
the
and fix the thing.
and he's
Yeah.
the only guy
Awesome.
from his battalion who
Yeah.
left, and it seemed weird. And it's a Vietnam era tank. We talked about that earlier today on the
Yeah.
Geeks of the
Right,
Square Table.
right.
That was weird.
Well, unfortunately, Jules screwed up and we lost
Yeah,
a
we
lot
did
of that
lose a lot of that.
episode.
Yeah.
Thanks,
But
man.
I don't
you
think
know,
it was his fault. I'm
Yeah,
gonna blame
I think it
Steve
was, it
Jobs
was a
and,
little,
and the Apple computer.
Yeah, we're gonna blame
Well,
Apple. It's not Jules
I
Stewart's
thought he
fault.
was a little distracted with the explosive diarrhea issue.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
He's over that though. He's over
Yeah,
that.
he's-
He put his
he's got a
jacket
jacket
on.
on.
Put his jacket
on.
That's
So-
a big boy jacket.
Yeah.
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 All right.
Let me ask
Jules
a question.
aside.
guys.
Go ahead.
Let me ask a question. Let's go around the table and say one thing we liked about the episode.
Oh, okay.
Just one
Sure.
thing.
That's
We're
gonna be
we're
hard to
start
do,
with
but I
Larry.
have one.
Actually, you know what? Let's start with Matt Tassin. Let's go this way.
Honestly, I'm a big fan of shots. Like, when I see something, you know, even as small as it is, I'm like, and it blows me away. And I thought when he has the guy who takes the position as leader, the older brother, kills him, puts him in the water. When he's like tied down, he's like trying to reach up to
Oh,
him
that
under
was
the
a
water.
great
I was like, man,
scene.
that's beautiful.
That was.
And honestly, that was the highlight of that episode for me. I was like, that is a great shot.
It was a great shot.
And that, honestly,
Yeah.
that's probably what I like the most
It
about
was
it.
almost the governor looking back at his past and
Yeah, he's just sitting there staring at the
re-grabbing it,
water,
yeah.
and you just see him like trying
Yeah.
to reach for him. So honestly,
Yeah.
that was my favorite. But
There was a moment when the governor said, lose you again, referring to the family that he had just got, lose you again. It's just more part of his narcissistic psychosis, and he's transferring his old life and his loss onto his new life and gain, which really has nothing to do with any of that. It all has to do with his revenge. So that whole thing kind of fell flat. But that was a moment of hope that I had, that maybe they'll focus more on his psychosis and less on his need for revenge, but his need for revenge ended up being the
You
hinging
know,
point of his psychosis.
Had
and
they
it
done
bent
this,
me.
gave him, the governor, 5 minutes in every other episode.
Yes.
Right.
These
To
2
allude
episodes,
to it.
they
yes.
could have done this so much better
It
than
would have
him
been
trying
smoother.
to
Yeah.
Yes,
What
and
was your
it
favorite?
wouldn't have felt like it jumped
Yeah.
back and forth. Sorry to interrupt.
No, that's good.
Yeah.
Um,
Do you have a favorite moment?
I do, but the funny thing is my favorite moment in turn, literally a second later, becomes the moment I hate the most in the episode. I'm not even kidding when I say that. To me, my favorite moment in the episode is when him and the previous member, Ramirez, I believe his name is,
Mhm.
Martinez.
Martinez, thank you. Martinez and him are talking, and there's a really relatable moment there where the governor is talking to him, and he's like, you know, you've done some shady stuff in the past, but you've totally lived through it. And then Martinez starts saying like all the stuff that really hits him horror-wise to make him question whether or not he can come back from that. Yeah, when they're golfing.
On the top of the
And I was like, man, what a great moment to kind of bond these characters together, which actually in turn shows more humanity unto the governor.
Agreed.
And then literally 2 seconds
Not
into
even that long, man.
he clubs him with a seed. He clubs him with a golf club,
Yeah.
and then carries him to the pit to be mutilated. And nobody can scream in that entire episode. Like,
But it was
like
a cool
anytime
death
some-
besides no screaming.
I
It was a-
agree.
it was
I
a cool
agree
death.
with that, but I mean, it's just I don't know, man. Like
No,
I
I'm
hate
with
saying
ya.
it because I love the Walking Dead series, the TV show
Yeah.
series. I love the comic books. I think it's really good writing all the way around. Honestly, even though there are some iffy episodes, but that was just terrible. Like that
Terrible.
one moment to me, I was like, screw you
It's
guys.
almost as though they
Screw,
tried to
like-
make it better by
exactly,
putting
but then
the pit and him pushing him in the pit. Yeah.
that was my favorite and sadly my worst moment in the episode.
What do you think,
Oh.
Richard?
Yours.
All right. Matt already said it about the brother being in the lake. I love that
Oh,
scene.
it
That
was
was pretty good.
awesome.
Yeah.
But I will say, when the governor was with the other brother, the tank operator, that was tense.
You talking about in the
Literally,
RV?
having him,
Yeah,
giving
the
him a
cigarette,
cigarette, and he's
Yeah.
like, "No,
Right
I don't
after he
smoke
kills his
anymore."
brother.
Right after
Oh,
he kills
yeah.
his brother.
Yeah.
Even though I wanted him to snap and be like, "You killed my brother," but that didn't happen because
And-
it was
Did you even know they were brothers?
no.
No.
Thank you.
Yeah, that was the problem
was
there
terrible.
too.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
didn't build that up right.
Yeah.
Oh,
They
yeah.
don't-
Yeah.
there's
I
like
slid
one
by it,
line.
yeah.
That's
Where he
my
says,
brother. You know,
Yeah.
he's
Yeah.
too loyal to leave.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I want to say something really, really quickly, and I'm sorry to interrupt,
It's
Christian,
fine.
but that moment itself is also really awesome, and it's a good character building moment, and then you ruin it at the next
Yes.
minute by having him join without any question the governor's armies and motives and everything.
Exactly.
Just
Like,
because of
that
Exactly.
one tense moment
Yeah.
you could have had to where the governor really shows you. I mean, we see how evil he is,
Yeah.
but we do. That was a perfect moment to show how absolutely far gone he was in his
Yes.
psychosis.
Yep.
To where he's like, I got a gun, I want you to smoke this cigarette. I'm telling you my plan, now you're done for it. That didn't happen.
Yes.
He pretty much held him hostage to smoke a cigarette, and then the guy was like reluctantly joined him.
Yeah,
But it
like,
seemed
It was
like
a
Yeah,
great
pretty
moment,
much.
ruined again.
But
'cause
2
I
it was
can-
seconds
I
into
can drive
it.
the
It was
tank.
like
Yeah, because I
the
can drive the
audience
tank.
pretty much was supposed to
Exactly.
already know how the governor is, so
Right.
we
Yeah.
don't need to explain it again. They basically was being
But
lazy
the episode
about it.
before they tried to, it seemed like they were on a path of putting him on a path of redemption.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
Again.
and yeah,
Surprise.
Yeah.
yeah,
Surprise.
Yeah.
And the whole thing with him talking to the brother or whatever, the tank driver in that RV, he was only alluding to him killing his brother because of the incident they had the day before with the
Right.
camp, and they were like, "Well, we can't go in there and attack this other camp," and you know, the tank driver's brother agreed. You know,
Yeah.
no, we can't go in there and do that. And it didn't seem convincing. Oh, that's why you killed my brother. Oh, that's cool. I understand.
And is it
The brother I stole this tank and drove to go save, left the army, went
Well,
AWOL.
Is it a known
That's
fact
cool
that like
that you
the
killed
governor's the one that went in there and killed those people?
I don't know. I don't know if they
Because
kind
they
of
go back
alluded
in like
to
2
it-
seconds,
yeah.
but you don't hear any gunshots.
No.
Yeah.
You don't hear nothing. So again, it
No
was just
ruckus
poor
or
planning to
anything.
me. Exactly.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
So
they
that
never
was-
really got to what actually happened to that
Yeah.
other camp they walked
Yeah.
upon.
But Christian,
But
what
But
was your-
somebody else stole those goods.
But I mean,
Yeah, because they never
So-
focus on them having the supplies and the
Yeah, that's
extra
true, too.
supplies.
Yeah.
So you can't really say that it was him. But on the flip
But
side
that's
of
so
that,
convenient.
you never
It
want to
is,
come
yeah.
across the group. Like you never focus on the group
Right.
in that episode at
Yeah.
all about. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like run into them again, perhaps. I don't know.
it
Like you
seemed
think if
loose.
you think if
It
they would
wasn't-
attack
yeah.
that one group, they would come and then try to attack the other one, which would
Exactly.
further his speech
Agenda.
into we need to get out of here because not only are we dealing with the
Exactly.
dead, but we're dealing with these people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Which kind of drives them into more of a frenzy to what's coming up in the next episode.
Right.
Agreed.
You know what I mean? I'm
Totally
just saying,
agreed.
I'm sorry.
But
I'm sorry,
anyway,
Christian. I'm sorry.
But Christian,
Yeah.
what you got, man?
What'd you like?
Well, I was totally gonna give a cop out answer and just be like, my favorite part of the episode was the trailer for the next episode.
Yes, the preview for
The
the
preview
next
for
one.
the next
yes.
episode
That's
was
cool.
totally.
That's all right.
I mean,
That was
legitimately,
good.
that was my favorite.
It was
Yeah.
the best
It
part.
was,
Yeah.
it was
Right.
intense. But without giving a cop out answer, I think my favorite part was I mean, it still kind of sounds like a cop out, but it was just how convenient everything was for the governor in this episode.
So easy.
I mean, conveniently there's another group of people that that don't hear them at all.
Yeah.
Shooting people and doing all this stuff. They're just minding their own business, living happily. You know, on the camp. This is all cool, and then they all get killed. You know, and the governor kills the brother. You know, the good brother.
Yeah.
And then the other guy joins them after smoking a cigarette, because apparently cigarettes calm your nerves that much.
They're great.
We're in a zombie
They're
apocalypse.
They're great.
And you know,
Wow.
this chick that he's with can see that he is slowly becoming crazier and crazier, but she still trusts him around her daughter.
Yeah.
That's great.
After 2 episodes.
After 2 episodes,
Yes.
you know, I love the convenience of the
Yeah.
2 lesbian
Yeah.
chicks' relationship. How
Right.
convenient that is.
But that was
It's
another
blossomed
thing.
now to like something more important.
And that was
Yeah.
another thing, the timing, the way they paced everything. It was really hard to tell. Even from the first Governor episode 6, it was hard to tell exactly how fast everything was
Yeah,
moving
right.
along.
Right.
And they kind of wanted you just to assume that just because they're acting like they've been
Yeah.
hanging out for 6 months,
Yeah.
you should assume that they've been hanging
That
out
was
for 6
that
months.
was the other thing. If they spreaded these over,
Yes.
I'm glad they
Exactly.
didn't. I'm glad they
Would've
didn't,
fixed-
because the Governor's like one of my least favorite characters ever. Because
I mean, he was a
doesn't-
villain because he ruined the show for me. That's why I hated him.
Yeah.
Because he ruined the show. Not because he was a terrible villain. He was, but
Yeah.
I hated him more because he ruined the show.
But he did
Like,
need his
I
own
didn't-
episodes. Is what
I
he
didn't,
said.
Exactly.
I didn't, like, a lot of people are gonna think like my answer's really snarkish and like, you know,
Uh-huh.
but that's literally, I really just liked how convenient it was, and I'm not saying that to be funny. Like, I didn't have to question anything because it was
Yeah.
just there for him. It was just
Yeah.
like, well,
You
I mean,
didn't have
well,
to
it's got
think
this,
really.
it's got that, it's got this, it's got that.
Yeah.
You know, but visually, the
Right.
scene with the zombie in the water was amazing.
Oh, it was.
Like,
I
yeah,
know.
that was
that
That's
is
pretty good.
that actually was one of the things that it was the best cinematically speaking. One of the best shots.
In the whole
This-
series.
I feel like
Actually,
I
yeah,
feel
the whole
like
thing,
a
it
real
was great.
the director from the Shawshank Redemption directed just that part and then
Yeah.
left.
Well,
Yeah.
it's reminiscent
Yeah.
of like when in the first season where he basically goes back to the torso zombie.
Yeah.
Like I felt like it was something like that because I was just like looking at that scene. I was like, man,
Yeah.
like that's
And it was a really powerful image.
Yeah, exactly.
That
Him
this
reaching
season
up.
has been
Oh,
kind
yes.
of light on.
Yeah.
What's your favorite part, Larry?
Well, I mean, honestly, y'all pretty much covered all the good parts.
There weren't
Like
many.
that.
There's
I
not
know
many.
it wasn't too
Uh,
many,
the
but
zombie scene was good, in the water. Now, one thing you were talking about the fight. The one thing I liked about that fight
With
is when
Martinez.
he was strangling them, he kept screaming, "I don't want it! I don't want it!" That just made me smile. And one thing that really, the scene that just drove me crazy about this episode. All right,
Like good
So-
crazy or bad crazy?
bad crazy.
uh,
All right, now, they're going with the governor's humanity. When he turns, when he decides to take control of the camp,
right.
all right, he runs out that one night, then he comes back and starts capping people.
Yep.
All right, but when he drives off, they get to the road with the quicksand in the middle
Yeah,
of the
the-
road.
the mud pit of
Yeah,
zombies.
the mud.
Yeah,
Okay.
Weird, yeah.
Yeah, that seems so out of place.
It
And I was
did.
like, okay,
They couldn't go around.
hey, okay, so
I mean, it was a cool looking scene, but yeah, it seemed out of place.
well, all right, they
Right.
couldn't go
Why did we get
around
out of
it.
the car and go look at it?
They
You
have
know what
a,
it is.
no, they have a fucking machine gun.
Was it
Yeah.
more symbolism though?
Kind of.
Just
I want
like-
to say.
I
I want to say yes
guess.
because
Well,
it's
they were
like
falling
it's like
short
the
on that.
riding bodies of hell, like that are in hell.
Yeah.
Because they're all packed together and they're all trying to
And they
claw their
can't
way
get
out.
out.
They can't get out.
Feudal, yeah.
Right. My thought is, if I'm running away, I'm just gonna turn around and go the other
The
fucking
other way. Exactly, right?
Yeah.
Because
To
where
the
were they going in the
average-
Throw
first
it,
place?
I think to
Yeah.
the average viewer, that scene is definitely one of the many WTF moments.
Yeah.
Because not only is it out of place, but if you look at it, symbolism, like you were just
Yeah.
saying, it still doesn't make sense. For
You're
the
Should
show.
I feel
Well, I
that?
mean,
But
and
this
really
entire
the
episode of
symbolism
WTF
of it, I
episode,
get
yeah,
that
you're
what they were
right, it
trying to
was.
go, oh, well, he's blocked. He drove like, well, the path of least resistance is me taking the lead.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know,
right.
and I get
Yeah.
and what you were talking about the last episode being for one scene or one phrase. The first phrase really ham-fisted in there. You can't think forever.
Exactly.
And this is him when he stops thinking. I get that,
Yeah.
but it just felt so ham-fisted.
Yeah.
Agreed.
And
Yeah. Christian said it, man. Like it's.
Thanksgiving ham fish.
What were you saying?
No, Christian said it, man. It's the most convenient episode I think
I
I've
have
ever seen.
leftover ham.
Yeah.
in the
Literally.
house.
Nice.
And
It's like they rushed to get to the mid-season finale.
I don't even
They're like,
feel
we
like
have to get to this season. We
we
have
know
to
what
make
that's
this
the problem.
awesome.
Let's
I don't
go.
even feel like they've rushed this because they had all the time they
You
had
wasted
last
their
year
time.
to do this. I
They
feel like
wasted
it
the
was
time.
literally just like we don't feel like, you know, it's like they couldn't pay the actual actors to come back
Yeah.
for 2 episodes.
Yeah.
They just did this BS.
Well, I
Gotta get the
mean,
budget.
let's look at this entire season honestly, though, gentlemen, and everything that we've been talking about since we've started this. This entire season in parts feels just really rushed. Like, oh, they just
Yeah.
got over killing the zombies in the prison, and now the cavalry's here with the cure.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like everything,
And
the
the
timing
cure
issue of this whole
fixed the
season is
flu.
completely
It's
off.
gone.
Exactly. Like, oh, everything's back to normal. Oh, we have a flu. Oh, I gotta go get supplies. Oh, we're stuck. I guess they're gonna die. Oh, we're fighting zombies in the
Really?
thing.
You know
oh, they're
what?
here with the cavalry. You know what I mean? Like,
I honestly think that this mid-season seems like this. Well, we really, I mean, all this stuff leading up to this. This honestly should have been the end of last season.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
you're right.
Sure, absolutely.
You're right.
This episode, last season, should have ended with the governor rolling up with the tank.
Yeah.
They could have done that.
So you're
They
saying
could have done
They'd
the
have skipped the
flu. They
flu.
could have done
would've
all
missed
that.
all the little
No,
girls.
No, they could have still done the flu. They still could
Oh,
have
you're
done
saying
that.
told off, and then a flashback from
Well-
before the governor gets to the prison. And last
No,
season with
I'm
the governor
saying
at the
He's saying
prison.
This
Ends
the
with the
first
tank.
these episodes, right? They could have compressed last season a little bit,
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
and the flu could have been one episode.
Right.
Agreed.
Alright.
Yeah, they stretched.
No,
it.
that's
This,
true.
I
That's
mean,
true,
this
'cause
really,
Because
this
last
the
season
whole
they really
first
did
season.
draw a lot of stuff
yeah,
out. They,
Yeah.
could
They
have
really
compressed it
could
more.
have
You're right.
done this, and the last 3 or 4 episodes of this season, of last season, could have been bringing us up to this point. And the end of this episode could have been the end of the season cliffhanger.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. No, I mean, I.
But they
agree.
didn't do that.
Nope.
They
They
weren't
sucked
planning
it
that
up.
far
They totally
ahead,
screwed
pretty
us.
much.
Well, the
I think
thing,
they were
the,
hanging their hat on the
and
on
the
season
flu
finale. Yeah,
part
mid-season.
seemed so worthless or whatever, or so
It did.
slow.
Yeah, there goes
And
my
I get what
plan
they were going,
Yeah.
but you weren't getting enough.
Yeah.
So if they had weaved these 2 episodes into that, you would have felt like you were making progress in the story.
Yeah, absolutely.
My zombie apocalypse
I will
pig
agree.
farm excursion plan is
But-
just ruined.
Yeah.
Ruined.
Take two.
Take 2.
So the fact where he was trying to make this, he was so committed, so afraid of reverting to himself, and he's like, "Fuck it," and gives it up. That just ruins the whole episode.
Who, the governor?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Now I don't know. I
If
think
that's
he's
the
trying to
part
fool
in-
If
himself.
that's the part of the episode
I think
that
that's how
really
big of a
ruined it for you,
narcissist
then
he
you were
is.
good to go from
Yeah.
the
I
start.
think that's how big of a
Then
narcissist.
As soon
he
as
is,
I
though,
realized that there were going to be 2 episodes dedicated to
To the
like
governor?
the shittiest character in the entire series,
Yeah.
I was like, well, cool. They could have gave me 2 episodes
Well-
devoted to Carol.
Yeah.
That,
or Glenn
that's
and
the
Maggie just
scene
talking.
that
I love the
retcons
scenes with
the
that.
entire last episode. That scene ruins the last
Yes.
episode
Yeah.
100%.
7 ruined 6.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Our mom
Yeah.
straight up was like, "I'm not watching this piece of shit," and left the room. Both episodes.
Straight
Oh,
up.
yeah.
I know people who were just
Both
like, I really
governor
don't
episodes.
care.
She was
Yeah.
like, "I'm
you know?
out.
I just want to see
care."
the original people.
I watched
Yeah.
it for the sole purpose of being able to enjoy an episode in the future.
I will tell you
I didn't
this. I'll
wanna
tell you
miss
this,
anything.
and then I'll be done.
It's
I
not
won't, I
worth
won't have to say anything more on this episode. These 2 episodes felt like watching Halloween 3 Season of the Witch.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what it felt like.
Really?
You don't get to see the main character.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It hardly ties into
Yeah.
it, and when it does, it's not good enough,
Yeah.
and it's a waste of like 2 hours.
Kind of true.
Yeah, you're right.
Kind of true.
He's
They
right.
do a better job in Halloween Season of the Witch tying into the fact that they're an organization that
Gentleman
made
Mansion,
Michael
yeah.
Myers. Yeah, that's fine. But this has nothing to do with the rest of any of the stuff that's going on in the prison. They tried to set it up, wasn't good enough.
Yeah.
We all
It didn't
agree on
work.
that. It's terrible.
Well,
The
you
setup
know,
was- yeah, it's
the whole
wacky.
thing is, even if we were going to have a governor
This guy,
episode,
bringing
the
conversations
the,
from earlier.
the the fact that
See,
they
it's right.
retcon the entire last episode
Yeah.
just goes to show we could have believed that he met this group and took shit over.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Didn't have to show him being a human if you're just going to wipe it out, because we didn't want to
Exactly.
see him as that.
We didn't want
Right.
to see this journey of this lie of a journey he
Yeah,
took.
People just want the
That's the
villain.
best
Of
case scenario that
self-delusion.
he tricked himself
Yeah.
into
Apparently,
believing.
AMC thought that we, the viewers, deserved a better class of criminal. And the governor
That
didn't
wasn't
give
the
it to
case.
us.
Yeah.
No,
That was not the case.
No,
He didn't give it
No.
to us.
No.
No, he didn't.
no.
So I think we can all say safely that we were fairly disappointed.
Yeah, I'd give it
I was just about to say,
A
let's
four.
rate it. Let's
Four,
start
we
down.
did it last episode we gave it 3.
I know. I'll give this one a 4.
It's
It
a
was
2.5.
a bit better.
I say it's 2.5 as well.
Well,
It's
I
worse than last
thought
episode.
there were moments in it that redeemed it a little bit more, like the dude in the water and there was
And that's
some.
it.
And well, the mud pit of zombies looked awesome. It was out
It
of
looked
place.
awesome.
I really
but it
didn't
looked
even
awesome.
think it looked that good.
I
I
love-
looked
the
at it and
muddy
I saw
zombies
that
are
looked like
scary.
they dug a square hole,
Yeah.
put an in-ground swimming pool there, and filled it full of mud.
Yeah.
I mean, it looked like a perfect square
Yeah.
in there.
Paid the actors
They
in
were
beer.
all exactly
coming
halfway
in
up
this
to their
range.
waist.
Yeah.
It was too perfect. It was like
Yeah.
uniform.
Yeah.
The
Uh,
mud
It
zombies
did look
cooler
cool.
than
I thought
that,
it looked
dude.
cool.
So what do you rate it, Matt?
I was about to say,
Tastic?
let's rate it.
Matt.
I mean,
What do you rate it? What do you rate it?
honestly,
got?
man, the episode, the name of the episode is called Dead Weight, and that's exactly what it was. It was
Yep.
terrible. I literally give it probably a 1. It's my least favorite
Mm.
episode. Just because there was nothing that I
They
cared
may
about.
have named it Dead Weight because they knew how terrible it was.
Probably. I wouldn't put
Yeah.
it past Robert Kirkman
Yeah.
and his diabolical
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
fashionings. What do you give it?
I'll give it a 4 just because there were some moments, like the lose you again moments. There were some moments that had potential that I thought were going to be redeeming, and I'm not going to blame the end of the episode for the potential that it had early on. A lot better than the 6.
That wasn't
and
the
6.
end of the episode, though. Because he went back and still killed more
What do you
people
rate it,
after
Kyle?
that.
Well, yeah, after that. I mean, that episode 7.
After they're done.
2 thumbs way down.
Ethan and Roper.
Hollywood gives it a quarter of a star.
That's right.
What about you, D-Man?
What I would like to say, and I'm going to quote from one of my favorite YouTube guys, this episode of Walking Dead, Dead Weight, is dog shit.
That was also mine.
Bad.
This episode, like I'll give it 2. I'll give it 2 reviews, two ratings. I'm sorry. If you are a Walking Dead AMC fan, then I'd give it about out of 5 stars. I'd give it another 3. If you're a Walking Dead AMC fan, but if you're a Walking Dead fan, dog shit, straight up,
He's right.
dog shit.
He's right.
Larry.
Honestly,
Here's Larry with the rebuttal.
And it's gonna pain him to do it. He knows it too.
It's going to hurt. It's finna hurt.
You know,
There's some Batman comics that suck too. So
I mean, honestly,
What?
I have to give this a -4.
Oh wow!
Oh, in the
Wow.
negative.
the very first negative.
Got him.
Negative.
Because
all the way
this-
down to 4.
Damn.
No, because I gave the last episode a 4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This has completely ruined that episode.
Yeah.
The
When they retconned it, it ruined
honestly,
it for
the
me.
one saving grace is that one
Yeah.
shot.
Yeah.
That one pretty shot.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, because of that shot, -3.
They're awesome.
Negative
That is
enough.
the
Awesome.
only.
Okay.
Other than that shot,
Yeah.
All right.
Cool.
I would honestly, if I was trying to introduce somebody to Walking Dead, I would tell them to skip these 2 episodes
Yeah.
because
I'd tell them
because
to
of
skip
this
the season.
episode.
You can skip
Yeah,
these.
you
I
should.
would say,
You don't even have
I
You
would
gotta
say
watch
watch
episode
this,
3. It's the shit.
yeah, and skip these 2.
Yeah.
Skip these 2 episodes.
Really, I know we're talking about that in the next episode of this, but really the last episode only needed the Carol episode from this season.
Yeah.
That's
Right.
the only thing that
Well, the
happened.
Carol episode and him coming back with the outbreak, because that moment with him and Carl was really awesome.
Oh,
I'm
the
sorry.
first from the first
Yeah, with
episode.
the machine gun. That was,
Yeah.
that was awesome.
That was
Yeah.
definitely
awesome.
good.
And then he, yeah. Well, next episode.
But
Next
that's for next
episode.
time, ladies
All right,
and
guys.
gentlemen.